Tonight, police crack the case of the Chateau Laurier art heist.
To actually find out that it's been recovered, we're beyond excited.
The iconic Canadian portrait, now in Italy, sold before the world knew it was stolen. Our Paul Hunter is on the case again tonight.
Kamala Harris.
After the debate, Harris and Trump both claim victory. Plus, the new endorsement from Taylor Swift, could it change the vote?
Are you ready for it?
And she's 14, flying alone for the first time when the airline booted her off the flight to fend for herself.
They closed the door, so I was really confused because I was like, I'm supposed to be on that plane.
Now her parents are speaking out.
From CBC News, this is The National with Chief Correspondent Adrienne Arsenault.
Thanks for joining us. There are finally some answers tonight in the case of an iconic Canadian portrait mysteriously stolen off the walls of the Chateau Laurier. Police revealing they've tracked it down in Italy. The Roaring Lion is a portrait of Winston Churchill captured by Canadian Yusuf Karsh. It was stolen from the Ottawa hotel nearly 3 years ago, but where it went has always been a mystery until now. After years on this story, Paul Hunter was the first today to break the news. The photo had been found, an arrest had been made, and the photo, well, it's coming home.
2.5 years after it was taken from Ottawa's Chateau Laurier Hotel, the room where the Roaring Lion once lived is under renovation. Winston Churchill's nameplate remains, but that iconic photo of him is absent. Now, not for long.
I could not believe it. I still have chills when I think about that.
Geneviève Dumas, manager of the hotel, on the news Canada's art heist of the century is effectively solved. The Roaring Lion, that iconic image of Churchill taken by Canada's Yusuf Karsh in 1941, later gifted to the hotel, stolen from the chateau's walls and replaced by a fake, has been found.
I always had hoped that we would recover the portrait, but to actually find out that it's been recovered, we're beyond excited.
The fake, here as photographed at the Chateau unknowingly in 2022, brought worldwide headlines. No one had noticed the original was missing for months. Tips flowed to Ottawa police, who, with aid from authorities in Europe, went on a global hunt for the original, eventually discovering it had been bought by a man in Genoa, Italy, from the Sotheby's auction house in London, before anyone even knew it had been stolen. Ottawa police gave thanks to all who gave tips.
It was a very complex investigation, but because of the nature of the item, we received so much support.
Much remains unclear, not least how it was stolen in the first place. Ottawa police have charged a 43-year-old Ontario man with a number of offences, including theft, forgery, and trafficking stolen goods. Say experts, it's the sale of such stuff that typically leads police to the thief.
In order to make money off of anything, you have to advertise it. That's when we get it back and we catch the perpetrators.
Bottom line, Adrienne, the Roaring Lion is coming home. There will be a ceremony in Rome later this month where it'll be formally handed over to Canadian officials, and then it's back to the chateau.
Hey, Paul, I know you're still on the road after your story last night, but you kind of missed a bit of a moment in that news conference. So let me play a clip right here.
It wouldn't have been possible without the assistance of the public, the Fairmont Chateau Laurier, the media, specifically Paul Hunter and his coverage of it.
So here's the thing, Mr. Hunter. We all know you're an excellent reporter, but there is a bit of a lovely personal connection here, too. You have to tell the story.
Yeah, well, you know, it's really all about my late mum. As a young woman in the UK, she worked for Churchill, helped re-elect him 1 year, and afterward, he sent her a nice signed thank you letter, which became a family heirloom. We had it framed and put it on the wall next to a rudimentary copy we had of the Karsh picture. Every time I'd ever go to the chateau as an adult, I'd go up to the real Karsh Churchill and I'd think of my mom, and I'd always take a picture of it. I happened to take the first photo of the fake on the wall without knowing it, and blindly offered it up to the hotel when the theft was noticed months later. Turns out it was a key clue. My mom to the rescue.
All right, like mother, like son. Thank you, Paul. Well, the ratings are out for last night's U.S. presidential debate. More than 57 million Americans tuned in for what was a fiery showdown between Kamala Harris and Donald Trump. Tonight, Richard Madden tracks the reaction, the fallout, and whether any of it could move the needle.
A rare moment of civility as Vice President Kamala Harris and former President Donald Trump shook hands again at the 9/11 memorial ceremony in New York. A somber moment in stark contrast to their contentious debate the night before.
The people of our country are absolutely dying with what they've done. They've destroyed the economy.
So many military leaders who you have worked with have told me you are a disgrace.
Both camps are now declaring victory.
Americans saw Kamala Harris command the stage on every single issue that matters most to them and put Donald Trump on the defensive.
Trump telling Fox News he won, while also claiming he's a victim of biased moderators who fact-checked him more than Harris.
I think we did great. It was 3-1. It was a rigged deal, as I assumed it would be, because when you looked at the fact that they were correcting everything and not correcting with her.
For more than 90 minutes, the two clashed over abortion rights, immigration, and the economy. But Harris's strategy to needle Trump and throw him off script appears to have worked.
People start leaving his rallies early out of exhaustion and boredom.
People don't leave my rallies. We have the biggest rallies.
Trump took the bait and veered into a bogus conspiracy about migrants in Ohio.
In Springfield, they're eating the dogs, the people that came in. They're eating the cats. They're eating the pets.
Ohio's Republican governor forced to set the record straight.
You know, I think we should take the word of the city manager and the mayor that they've found no credible evidence of that story of Haitians eating pets.
She cleaned his clock.
Political scientist Larry Sabato tells CBC News Harris explained her vision, but still lacks credibility on economic issues.
People need to know more about her and her positions.
And do you think this debate might move the needle?
Well, I don't know if it'll move it enough, and much more important, I don't know if it'll last.
And there are less than 8 weeks to go until voters go to the polls, but in some states, early voting is about to begin.
Absolutely. So, Richard, there was a question about whether there could be another presidential debate before Election Day.
Yeah, well, the Harris campaign wants another. They feel energized, and their fundraising has surged after the first debate. But it's now Trump who appears to be resisting. He says he'll consider it, implying only losers want a rematch. Now, conservative outlet Fox News has proposed a second debate in October during the final crucial weeks of the campaign. So a second debate may become more appealing, with polls suggesting this election is still too close to call.
All right, Richard Madden in Washington. With both campaigns seeking an edge, the Democrats are celebrating a major boost from pop superstar Taylor Swift. Alison Northcott now on the blockbuster endorsement and its potential impact.
When Taylor Swift has something to say, fans pay attention. I'm voting for Kamala Harris because she fights for the rights and causes I believe need a warrior to champion them, the pop star posted on Instagram to her 283 million followers after the presidential debate. I've made my choice. Your research is all yours to do and the choice is yours to make, she wrote, signing off childless cat lady, a reference to a comment made by Donald Trump's running mate J.D. Vance.
I am incredibly grateful, first of all, to Taylor Swift. I say that also as a cat owner, a fellow cat owner. And that's the type of courage we need in America to stand up.
Swift said it was time to be transparent about her voting plans after a fake AI image of her appearing to endorse Trump was posted on his site. Trump reacted to Swift's choice on Fox News.
I was not a Taylor Swift fan. It was just a question of time.
For Swifties who are Harris supporters, her endorsement is encouraging.
The more that we get that boost of support from the bigger names out there in the world, I think the better it will be.
That endorsement surely is going to have an impact.
This expert says Swift might not change minds, but could motivate young people to vote in a tight race.
Taylor Swift endorsement has had an influence on voter registration in 2023. She told her followers to register on vote.org as electors, and there was a surge.
This Swift fan and Trump supporter isn't swayed.
Could Taylor Swift change your mind?
No, never. I still love her work. I might be a little bit more reluctant to go to a concert because, I understand everyone has their political affiliation. Do I feel like she's using her stature to influence people? Absolutely.
Democrats hoping to harness that influence come Election Day. Alison Northcott, CBC News, Montreal.
Hurricane Francine has now made landfall in Louisiana tonight as a Category 2 storm. It's a mess. Evacuation orders are in place due to a life-threatening storm surge in several areas. New Orleans is being hit with heavy rainfall, and widespread flood risks are expected over the next 24 hours. The Louisiana coastline is vulnerable as work is still underway to fully recover from devastating hurricanes in recent years. Back in this country, Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre is again daring his fellow opposition party leaders to help topple the Trudeau minority government and trigger an election. But as Ashley Burke explains, so far, nobody's biting.
For the third week in a row, Pierre Poilievre's trying to throw down the gauntlet.
It's put up or shut up time.
And force an election he seems confident he'll win.
We'll put forward a non-confidence motion at the earliest possible opportunity. And I'm asking Jagmeet Singh and the NDP to commit.
Now he's making it a double dog dare.
Est-ce que le Bloc va voter pour?
Challenging the Bloc Québécois to take down the government by voting for it too.
On n'est pas payé à l'heure pour que...
The Bloc's leader has already said he's not working for Poilievre and will do what's best for Quebec. Jagmeet Singh won't say how he'd vote either.
I'm not going to say our decision ahead of time.
But Singh did say what he thinks of Poilievre, who repeatedly mispronounces his name and won't stop calling him Sellout Singh.
He likes to insult people and call people names. I think that shows you what type of person he is.
Right now, Poilievre's call to action is going nowhere, at a time when the NDP and Liberals are both meeting with their caucuses to strategize their next moves.
We believe in Canadians.
After a summer of reflection and some Canadians and some of his own MPs calling for change, Justin Trudeau has given no signs of a new plan, but is preparing for a fierce fight.
I can't wait to continue getting into it this fall with Poilievre, whose perspective is cuts are the only way forward.
All of this unfolding on a day that felt like an election campaign. The party's leaders in front of cameras before two high-stakes by-elections on Monday. That's the same day MPs are heading back to Parliament Hill, and we'll see how soon Poilievre can take his challenge to the floor of the House of Commons and if anyone actually follows through on his dare. Ashley Burke, CBC News, Ottawa.
Right on the heels of our story about how big corporate firms buy up affordable housing across Canada and jack up rents, NDP leader Jagmeet Singh now says he wants to ban the practice. In a press release, the NDP said it will introduce a bill that restricts the sale of existing affordable apartments to individuals, nonprofits, municipalities, agencies, and co-ops. On Monday, we showed you how rent affordability plunged as corporate ownership of Canada's rental market surged. You can find our investigation on the National's YouTube channel. Well, the Liberals are now in danger of losing an important political ally, the gun control lobby group Poilievre. As Danielle Leblanc explains, it says the government's years-long plan to buy back military-style firearms is so far a dud because it doesn't go far enough.
Nathalie Provost is losing faith in Ottawa's gun control agenda.
We need to have a structured and efficient buyback program, and we don't see it in operation right now.
Like other survivors of the Polytechnique massacre in 1989, she spent much of her life fighting to ban military-style weapons in Canada.
Our first request was a complete ban on assault-style weapons. And for us, that meant that no more assault-style weapon would be in circulation.
The Trudeau Liberals had promised to make that dream a reality. In 2020, the government banned 1,500 models of firearms, promising to buy them back from retailers or individual gun owners and destroy them.
So today, we take another big step forward.
While Ottawa has banned the likes of AR-15s, Police se souvient and gun experts agree many similar firearms are still available, including ones like the Crypto that is just entering the market.
In 2020, they banned AR-15, but they didn't ban the WK-180 because it was only in small numbers on the market. then.
Wes Winkle owns a hunting shop.
Taxpayers should be so upset at this process. And those consumers that are licensed are going to take that same funds, turn around and buy the identical firearm with a different branded make and model.
Public Safety Minister Dominique LeBlanc refuses to be swayed by critics.
On va aller acheter ces armes à feu et on va les détruire.
He said Ottawa will recover and start destroying firearms this fall and into next year. Provost says she's not sure the Prime Minister will be welcome at the next commemoration of the Polytechnic massacre on December 6th in Montreal.
We have to do this buyback program, but if we do it, we have to do it efficiently, not just for appearance.
The sharp criticism comes at a perilous time for the Liberals, especially among voters in big cities like Montreal, where there is a crucial by-election on Monday. Daniel Leblanc, CBC News, Ottawa.
To a bizarre twist in an Ontario manslaughter conviction. More than 1 year later, the judge who presided over the case says he delivered the wrong sentence. Samantha Beattie now on his explanation and what comes next.
Jonathan Stiers was shot and killed in 2016. His mother died last year, but her sister Rhonda Johns says she was at peace, thinking that the man who killed her son was going to prison.
8 long years for justice that my sister will never see. But I had told her that I would pass, that I would keep this going for her.
The reason for the wait? 2 trials, 1 mistrial, and an appeal to the Supreme Court of Canada. Last year, Peter Cahill was convicted of manslaughter, but more than a year later, there's a new twist in the story. In a letter to the Court of Appeal, the trial judge says the 8-year sentence he read out in court was the wrong one. Justice Andrew Goodman says he prepared 3 decisions with different sentences. As I left my chambers, he wrote, I inadvertently took the wrong set of reasons with me. He says he meant to say 6 years, not 8, and didn't correct himself in court.
Well, I haven't really seen anything like this in 35 years of teaching criminal law.
In the letter, Goodman says he consulted with several experienced judicial colleagues. He says he considered coming clean earlier, but was dissuaded from doing so.
It was a very charged offense that got a lot of publicity in the Hamilton Six Nations area. And so that makes this mistake, I think, even more embarrassing for the administration of justice.
In a statement to CBC News, Cahill's wife Millie says she is deeply unsettled. Rhonda John says she wants the 8 years to stick.
We've been carrying this since 2016. And every time I think about it, I just get more angrier that nothing has been done yet. And we need to see justice done.
Justice Goodman sentenced Cahill in this courthouse over a year ago. When the Court of Appeal hears the case next month, it will be asked to look at both the verdict and sentence, including what to do about the judge's mistake. Samantha Beattie, CBC News, Hamilton.
Ukraine is asking its allies for permission to use Western weapons to strike deeper inside Russia. Why there's hesitation to give it a green light?
We're very concerned about the escalatory action.
A 14-year-old flying alone is left to fend for herself after she's told to get off the plane.
They closed the door, so I was really confused because I was like, I'm supposed to be on that plane.
Why the airline says it did nothing wrong. And a governor springs to action in an emergency.
It clicked and I realized who it was.
We're back in 2 minutes. There's some new reaction tonight from the NFL star who was pulled from his car and handcuffed during a traffic stop in Florida. Tyreek Hill says he could have been more cooperative.
I have family members who are cops. We've had conversations. Yes, I will say I could have been better. I could have let down my window, in that instant.
The Miami Dolphins player was pulled over by police Sunday on the way to his team's home opener. Body camera video showed the encounter escalating quickly, with police forcing him to the ground. One officer was reassigned pending an investigation. Hill today said he wants him fired. Well, the U.S. and UK are considering a request from Ukraine to let it fire Western missiles further into Russia. Briar Stewart shows us what's escalated the debate and why some say the weapons won't be a game changer.
U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken and the U.K. Foreign Secretary David Lammy arrived in Kyiv amid repeated pleas from Ukraine for permission to use Western weapons to hit further into Russia.
We're working with urgency to continue to ensure that Ukraine has what it needs to effectively defend itself.
But that hasn't included giving Ukraine the green light around these weapons, at least not yet.
We're very concerned about the escalatory action that we're seeing from Iran particularly.
Officials say Iran has sent short-range ballistic missiles to Moscow. Tehran denies that claim. But the shipment appears to be shifting debate around the use of Western weapons. Ukraine wants to be able to use missiles made by the US and the UK to hit military targets deeper inside Russia. They have a range of a few hundred kilometers, and US defense officials have said they alone will not be a game changer. In part because Russia has already moved some of its aircraft out of range, and Ukraine can already hit targets far beyond the border. On Tuesday, Kyiv launched its biggest drone attack yet on Moscow. And at the end of August, Ukrainian drones targeted a Russian oil facility more than 1,100 kilometers away.
I think that's been an area of success for Ukraine, yeah.
The security professor says Washington wouldn't give clearance before to use these weapons because of fears over escalation. But those worries seem to have waned.
The Ukrainians have been looking for it. They seem to think it will make a big enough difference, but this is contingent on what the Russians do.
The Kremlin has promised a response if the missiles are used more widely. When asked if he's considering lifting the ban, U.S. President Joe Biden said that it is being worked out. He's scheduled to meet with the UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer in Washington on Friday. Briar Stewart, CBC News, London.
One of the men at the center of a prisoner exchange with Russia is describing how his release unfolded.
I was confident that I was going to die in that Siberian prison.
Human rights activist Vladimir Kara-Murza tells us what he endured behind bars.
It's very difficult to stay sane.
And many in a First Nations community remain without clean drinking water despite a multi-million-dollar treatment plant.
Why don't you drink your tap water?
We've never ever trusted our tap water.
The National breaks down the stories shaping our world. Next. The parents of a 14-year-old have a warning tonight about an airline policy that applies to minors who fly alone. Ali Chiasson has their story.
14-year-old Cameron Larkin was flying solo from Toronto to Victoria after a visit with family and friends.
So I was sitting down, I was ready for the plane to take off.
But before her Porter Airlines flight departed, a flight attendant pulled her aside and told her
there had been a problem, so I need to get off the aircraft.
It was her first time traveling alone.
And this is your experience.
They closed the door, so I was really confused because I was like, I'm supposed to be on that plane.
So what happened? Well, it's a rare case where, for safety reasons,
they may have to reduce the payload of the aircraft, which means weight and balance. So they take off either travelers or cargo.
Airlines then ask for volunteers to exit in exchange for a rebooking and a discount. But nobody agreed, so Cameron was one of several who were removed. But she says she was the only unaccompanied minor.
I was completely shocked, confused, very worried about her.
Fortunately, Cameron's dad was in Toronto and could pick her up. But her mom, Kathy, wonders if it happened to another child who didn't have that option.
They might be traveling, far from family and friends.
In a statement to CBC News, a spokesperson for Porter explained Porter's unaccompanied minor policy applies to passengers between the ages of 8 and 11 traveling alone. For passengers 12 to 17, there's an option to purchase the unaccompanied minor service. The extra supervision costs $100. If it's not purchased, there's no guarantee the passenger will keep their seat.
An airline would basically treat them like any other customer.
While the Larkins didn't buy it, they say because they didn't know about the policy. Cameron's mom says,
"And see, she's a minor traveling unaccompanied. Go to the next person. It doesn't take a genius. I mean, it's just logical. It's just common sense. Go to an adult who can handle a disruption in their travel plans at this magnitude.
Meanwhile, those in the industry say rules weren't broken. It's just policy, and parents got to pay up. Ali Chiasson, CBC News, Toronto.
Now it's time to dig deeper into the stories shaping our world. An Ontario First Nation thirsty for justice pushes for access to clean water. But first,
These are war crimes that are being committed by the dictatorial regime in the Kremlin.
sentenced to 25 years in a Russian prison for opposing Vladimir Putin, awoken by guards 2 years later in the middle of the night.
And at that moment, I was absolutely certain that I was going to be let out and be executed.
Instead, released in the largest multinational prisoner swap since the end of the Cold War. And then Vladimir Kara-Murza gave his first Canadian interview to Briar Stewart.
Up until a few weeks ago, I was confident that I was going to die in that Siberian prison. Everything that happened on the 1st of August is a miracle.
So it hasn't sunk in for you yet?
Absolutely not. I'm sitting here speaking with you, and it still feels like I'm watching this from the outside, and that I'm still sitting back in prison in Omsk. I was convinced that I was never getting out, that I would never see my family again, that I would never be able to hug my wife and kiss my children. I would never, ever walk as a free man again. This is what I was convinced of.
Vladimir Kara-Murza is finally free after being locked away in a Russian prison for more than 2 years. But he'd been a high-profile target of the Kremlin for much longer because of his vocal criticism of the Russian regime. Kara-Murza has frequently traveled abroad, meeting with Western lawmakers, including those in the US and Canada, to push for sanctions against Russia's human rights abusers. He survived 2 poisoning attempts, but thought he would never make it out of solitary confinement in Siberia until he was released in the largest prisoner swap between Russia and the West since the Cold War.
No problem. Hi, Vladimir. Nice to meet you. Briar Stewart.
Kara-Murza sat down with CBC News in an exclusive Canadian interview, talking about his time in prison, his release, the war in Ukraine, and his hope for Russia's future.
I just want to take you back to 2022, a month and a half into Putin's full-scale invasion. You decide to go back to Moscow, even though I know some of your friends had urged you not to. Why take the risk when you knew that you very likely could be arrested?
My place is in Russia. How could I call on my fellow Russian citizens to stand up and resist Putin's dictatorship if I didn't do it myself? What would all my convictions, all my appeals be worth?
A few weeks after Vladimir Putin launched Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine, Kara-Murza was arrested outside of his house and eventually sentenced to 25 years in prison for treason and spreading false information about Russia's war on Ukraine.
So in all, I spent 2 years and 3 months in prison. That's both in Moscow and in Omsk, including that transit on the way from Moscow to Siberia. 11 months straight of those 2 years and 3 months was spent in solitary confinement, in total and complete isolation. I was in a small cell. It's about 2 by 3 meters, a small window just under the ceiling with metal bars. There was no one to speak to. There was nothing to do.
What would you say was your lowest point in prison?
Well, to put it plainly, it's very difficult to stay sane. You start to forget words, you start to forget names, and you just sit there and stare at a wall. It's really important, in order not to go crazy, to fill up your time and your mind with something constructive.
He was able to get his hands on a Spanish textbook and spent his days learning the language. He figured he would languish in prison until one night in July.
When I'm suddenly woken up by this loud noise of the doors of my cell being opened and a group of prison officers bursting into the cell, and at that moment I was absolutely certain that I was going to be let out and be executed. But instead of the local wood, the prison convoy took me to the airport.
He was taken to this prison in Moscow, but wasn't told what was going on until 5 days later, when security agents in balaclavas marched him onto a bus.
And it's very dark inside. There are no lights. The windows are darkened. And in every row, I see more men in black balaclavas covering their faces. But next to each of them, and these were operatives from an FSB special unit, and next to each of them, I saw a friend, a colleague, a fellow political prisoner.
That's when he says he knew he was part of a prisoner swap. He was taken to a plane and flown to Turkey. There were 16 prisoners on board, including Evan Gershkovich, a reporter from the Wall Street Journal, and Paul Whelan, a former U.S. Marine who also holds Canadian citizenship. When the group landed, a woman walked up to Kara Mirza and handed him a cell phone.
And she said, "The President of the United States is on the line waiting to speak to you." And I said something to him, you know, thanking him for this. And then he passed the phone to my wife and children who were standing with him in the Oval Office.
Алло, алло.
Алло, алло, пап.
Да, Катюшечка, это ты?
Да, пап, привет.
Привет, маленький.
Привет, хорошо тебя слышать.
When I heard their voices on the phone, there are no language, there are no words in any language that I know that can describe that feeling.
Since reuniting with his family, Kara Mirza has barely rested. He's crisscrossing Europe, meeting with leaders, including German Chancellor Olaf Scholz, to thank him for his support and help orchestrating the prisoner swap. Kara Mirza plans to go to Canada soon because while he was imprisoned, Parliament granted him honorary citizenship.
To me, the honorary citizenship bestowed by Canada was, of course, a profound personal honor, but I also take it as a gesture of solidarity and as a sign of solidarity and support on the part of Canada with all of those people in Russia who have stood up against the Putin dictatorship and who have publicly spoken out against his aggressive and criminal war in Ukraine. For Russia to change, Vladimir Putin's regime must lose.
But 2.5 years into his war, full-scale war on Ukraine, I mean, it appears that his grip on power is still quite solid, regardless of the different developments. So how does that change?
One lesson that the modern history of Russia certainly teaches us is that major political changes in our country can occur like this, completely unexpectedly, completely suddenly, out of the blue.
And I know you really want to go back to Russia someday in the future when it is safe for you to do so. Do you envision any kind of role for you in a future government, a Russian government down the road?
That doesn't matter. What matters is that free Russia happens. That's the most important thing. I am going to do everything that I can to bring closer that day when Russia becomes a peaceful, normal, modern, democratic country. I have no doubt that they will come, and I see it as my duty and my responsibility to do everything that I can to try to bring that day a little bit closer.
Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Bri. It's wonderful to speak to you.
Since his release, Kara Mirza has urged world leaders to work with dissidents opposed to Putin's war. Well, Ottawa invested millions for a water treatment plant, but many in the community say they aren't connected.
If it was working the way it should be working, I would be retired.
Why clean tap water is still hard to come by. Next. Entire generations growing up without access to clean water.
What do you think of that? If someone in their home could turn on the tap and use that water to drink out of?
I think that's kind of weird. I've never seen somebody do that before.
Less than 100 kilometers outside Canada's largest city, a First Nation living without a basic human right.
No one outside the community gives a damn.
Jayla Bernstein looks at how Six Nations of the Grand River is fighting back.
So you don't really trust this water for drinking, eh?
No, no, no.
We've never ever trusted our tap water.
This is Six Nations of the Grand River. It's named for the waterway that runs through its territory. It's not remote or hard to access. It's located just 30 minutes from Brantford and Hamilton and about an hour and a half from Toronto. So why is it that people here say in 2024 they don't have reliable access to clean drinking water?
No one outside the community gives a damn. If they did, I wouldn't be here. We have to go to the courts to finally get something done.
We're here to find out why water is still such an issue on the most populated reserve in Canada.
Hi.
Hey, I'm Jayla.
Hi, nice to meet you. I'm Ashley.
This is Ashley Cook's home. It's where she lives with her husband and 4 kids. Here, everyone knows which water is for drinking. And how long would this last?
Maybe a week, maybe a week and a half, yeah.
What's your tap water over here used for?
Dishes.
Okay.
Dishes, bathroom, showering, laundry, yeah.
Okay. And why? Why don't you drink your tap water?
We've never ever trusted our tap water, and we just grew up never drinking tap water, so it's just normal to not drink it.
Like a lot of families on reserve, their tap water comes from an outdoor cistern, and it's easy to get caught short.
I remember when my twins were babies and I was exhausted. I was like, okay, they're both asleep at the same time. It's perfect. I can go get in the shower. And the water ran out on me. And I just wanted to cry. I had hardly no sleep, and you know, I was exhausted, and I finally got to go have a nice shower and the water stopped.
It's a lesson she's passed on to all of her kids, including 10-year-old Ellie.
What do mom and dad always tell you when you're in the shower?
Don't take long, you're gonna waste the water.
What do you think of that? If someone in their home could turn on the tap and use that water to drink out of?
I think that's kind of weird. I never seen somebody do that before.
Her clean water doesn't come cheap, and these bills for filling up that cistern outside, they add up.
So 2,000 gallons, $95. That was July. June, $2,000, $95. May, 2,000 gallons, $95.
All in all, she says water for their family of 6 costs around $250 a month.
And I'm not even sure what others pay off reserve, to be honest. I don't know how much their water is.
Do you want to know?
I do.
It's around $40 a month to be hooked up to the water treatment
And that's
plant.
just unlimited water.
Yeah.
And it's drinkable water.
Yeah, the average is about $40 a month for just under 4,000 gallons.
Oh, wow. Lucky.
So there is pipe-treated water here in Six Nations. But the water main stops about 2 kilometers short of Ashley Cook's home. In fact, about 70% of homes here aren't connected to the water treatment plant. So we're gonna head there now and find out why more people aren't hooked up to it. This plant was built with help from the federal government. It nearly quadrupled the water treatment capacity on reserve. But a decade later, water service still doesn't run down most roads. The head of Public Works, Mike Montour, says while nearby cities take potable tap water for granted, it's just a different reality here. How did we get here that in 2024, people can't necessarily turn on their tap in this community and have like clean, trustworthy drinking water?
Everything really boils down to money, to me. Like, it's not just the funding that they provide now that's not enough, it's the funding they didn't provide 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 years ago.
The federal government spent $26 million to build the water treatment center and another $15 million since then to extend water mains. Six Nations itself has put up around $20 million of its own, but it's not enough. So the people who aren't connected use patchwork solutions to get and transport water. Mike says that comes with risk.
Can we guarantee that, well water is safe, or what they're doing with the water from that truck fill, what the container they're putting it in, and how they're connecting it to their home and using it? No, we can't.
Solving that is not something Six Nations can fund on its own. By council's estimates, getting clean water to even part of the reserve would cost tens of millions of dollars and upwards of hundreds of millions for the entire community.
It's time for Canada to know that Six Nations of the Grand River is tired of what's happening.
After a day in the community, we got an interview with elected Chief Sherry Lynn Hill. She broke the news to us that they're suing the federal government.
My people do not deserve this kind of treatment. Would this happen in Toronto?
Indigenous Services Canada, I did reach out to them, and they said that everyone in this community has access to clean, safe drinking water.
Oh, that's news to me. It's not true. Not true at all.
We put those concerns back to the federal government. In a statement, a spokesperson reiterated that the community's public water system is not under a water advisory. Though, she said, the federal government recognizes the need to bring transformational change and hopes to accomplish that through proposed legislation called the First Nations Clean Water Act. For now, the government points to filling stations like this one as part of what it funds to ensure everyone has access to safe water. At one that we visited, some said they drink this water, others not so much. So you don't really trust this water for drinking, eh?
No, not at all.
Okay. How come?
The quality of water on the reserve is not good.
That distrust is common here. And in homes not connected to public water, testing has found unsafe contaminants, including E. coli. Some of that research is led by McMaster University professor Dawn Martin-Hill. She's Ashley's mother, and she lives in Six Nations.
So the studies that we did, we found especially through the birthing center, young moms really struggle and worry about running out of water up to 10 times a day. It's a daily concern, but we've normalized it. We've somewhat accepted it. And you know, part of my research project has been to help raise awareness that this is not okay, that we live like this.
And the water will flow through these drains.
Her team organizes community demonstrations like this one, sharing knowledge around water quality and its management.
Okay, so Ava, I'm gonna need you to open it up.
Back at Ashley's, we get a tour of how life works when you rely on a cistern. This piece of lumber, it's a dipstick, and it's how they check their water levels.
So,
okay,
that's how much is left, which is pretty low.
This is ration time.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay,
Yeah.
this is when you call the water truck.
Yeah.
Wilson's water haulage delivers to about 200 homes a week. And business is good. They get calls around the clock.
If it wasn't for us, then people would be scrambling for water.
Kevin Wilson has been at this for 30 years. He says he'd be happy to see the rest of his community connected to treated water, even if it meant a dip in business.
It doesn't work how it is, and if it was working the way it should be working, I would be retired.
Ashley is hopeful her home will get hooked up to the water main someday. In the meantime, she manages.
It's not fair, but it works.
It's a sense of injustice shared by many in her community. And if someday safe, reliable water becomes easier to access in Six Nations, there'll be a final barrier, learning to trust it.
The elected chief tells CBC News Six Nations will file a lawsuit this month. Next, when help comes from an unexpected place.
I'm standing there and I'm hitting my chest.
How a governor saved the day in our moment. A startling situation at a New Hampshire eating competition. Contestant Christian Moreno began choking, and the man who jumped in to help, none other than the governor himself. The incident didn't deter Christian. He went back to the table to compete. The governor's Heimlich maneuver is our moment.
We started, they come down the line, they say, how many are you gonna eat?
I'm shooting for at least 20.
Had a lofty goal and said, I'm gonna eat 20. I realized I was focusing so much on my posture for this that I was not chewing. I was just biting and swallowing. I ended up feeling something small that was, stuck in my throat. In that moment, I was doing my absolute best just to stay calm and just communicate that I was choking. I'm standing there and I'm hitting my chest, turned around to motion like I'm choking, and I saw a figure coming over and he started the compressions when he had put me down after I had like put my thumb up and been like, I'm good, and then I went down and was like, no, I'm not good. And the paramedic had stepped in. It wasn't until the very end that it clicked and I realized who it was.
Okay, so not only did he go back to the eating competition, once he was done that, he didn't win, didn't eat 20, by the way. He just went back to work to do his night shift at the Postal Service. From all of us at The National, thank you for being with us. You can watch anywhere, anytime on the free CBC News app and subscribe to The National's YouTube channel. I'm Adrienne Arsenault. Take care.